Hey everybody, you can't see my video because there's no video on this one because of technical difficulties, but I'm still going to talk you through the layers of the atmosphere. So the atmosphere is the gases around the Earth. They're being held there by gravity, and they're mostly nitrogen. Oxygen is next, argon is next, and then you have other ones that there's too many to list that make up that last little bit. The temperature is going to depend on which layer you're in, and it's going to change as you see as you go through those layers. Okay. So we actually are basing the layers on the temperature. So we're going to say at that point in the atmosphere where you get around this negative 50 C, that means you're entering the stratosphere. And when you get back to this kind of negative, what's that look like? Negative 10 C, now you're coming into the mesosphere, right? We're actually defining them that way. Okay, so this is telling us we're getting higher and higher as we go, and this is telling us the temperature. You're going to see me skip through some questions. I'm going to give you those questions to review later. Air pressure. This graph looks very different. Why? Because as altitude increases, altitude is how high up. So as you get higher, there's going to be less pressure. Why? Because air pressure is literally the pressure of the air weighing down on all the air that's underneath of it. And so that pressure is the highest at the bottom, and so the air molecules are pressed together, and it's the least at the top, so the air molecules are much farther apart. So, Earth's atmosphere has five major layers we're going to talk about. Going from the outside in, exosphere, thermosphere, mesosphere, stratosphere, troposphere. And you can see some of these things that we find in these layers. Satellites in the exosphere, aurora in the thermosphere, and the ISS is in the thermosphere. Some interesting clouds in the mesosphere, and that's where the meteors tend to burn up. The ozone layer in the stratosphere, and a couple of little human activities. And then the troposphere having most of that weather and some commercial air flights. So the troposphere is where we live. It's where the weather happens, um, and it has temperature that goes down as the altitude goes up. As they go up, it gets colder in the troposphere. I relate tropo, like tropical, to weather, and know that that's where the weather happens. And this is also where the jet streams are. And by the way, it has that warmth near the surface and gets colder as you go up because it's literally reflecting from the sun off of the earth. The stratosphere is where that ozone layer is. It's also where you might be if you're on an airplane. Okay. And the temperature is going to go up as the altitude goes up. Sorry. The mesosphere is next. So we're going out from the Earth, remember? And so the mesosphere is where those meteors are going to burn up. And it also has not much of anything else. So it's not going to hold much heat because there's not really molecules to hold that heat. It's very thin in the mesosphere. The temperature is going to go down as the altitude goes up. So as you go up in the mesosphere, the temperature is going down. This is the coldest layer. Okay. Yep. I'm gonna keep going. Okay, the thermosphere, the temperature's going up as the altitude goes up. Okay, because remember that graph was kind of doing a zigzag because in some layers it's going to go down, some layers it's going to go up. So this one's going up as you go up. This is where the aurora is, like the aurora borealis, the northern lights and all that. Okay, there's some filtering going on here of certain rays from the sun, and this is where the ISS is. Okay, that's where the ISS is floating around. It's not, people think it's a little bit further into space than it really is sometimes, I think. Okay, the exosphere, the fifth layer, the farthest layer we're talking about, the temperature is still going up as you go up in the exosphere. This is the thinnest layer. The air is super, super, super thin. And it's kind of just the border with outer space. And the border is not a solid border. It's very, very kind of blurred, like a ombre or gradient from going from where there's air to where there's space. It's a very kind of amorphous, kind of fuzzy barrier. And there's satellites here. Okay. And here's matching each layer of the atmosphere with the appropriate characteristic. And so these are not lined up over here. They need to be lined up, okay? So troposphere, I'm looking for what? The layer closest to the Earth. You can pause, by the way, and do this yourself. Take a moment. Okay, I'm gonna say troposphere is the layer closest to the Earth. The I wonder if I can draw. I can. The troposphere is the layer closest to the Earth. The exosphere eventually fades into space. The stratosphere has the ozone layer. The mesosphere was the coldest layer. And the thermosphere had temperatures that climb sharply. So there you go. All right, now I'm gonna stop annotating and I'm gonna, oh, that's our last slide. So hopefully you filled out your papers. And if not, you can always rewind and watch it again. All right, have a great day.